Welcome to When Gen X Ruled the Multiplex, the films that shaped the MTV generation. Today I'm looking at a 1984 film that starred Faye Dunaway, Peter O'Toole, and Mia Farrow, and you're probably thinking right now, wow, those are all powerhouse actors with multiple prestigious awards to their names. This film is probably going to be some serious Oscar bait. And then it slowly dawns on you, oh crap, it's Supergirl. Supergirl is part of the Superman film franchise, which at that point included 1978's Superman, 1980's Superman 2, and 1983's Superman 3, all of which starred the late Christopher Reeve as Superman. Those first two films were both popular and critically acclaimed, but by the time Supergirl came around, Superman 3 had already disappointed both audiences and critics, and there were clear signs of franchise fatigue. The Supergirl film was directed by Jeannot Szwarc, who'd been recommended to the producers by Christopher Reeve, who'd starred in his 1980 film Somewhere in Time. Reeve was originally supposed to appear in Supergirl as Superman, but he pulled out shortly before the start of production. The script, by David Odell, based on the character of Supergirl as created by Otto Binder and Al Plastino, had to be extensively reworked to compensate for his absence. We open in the idyllic paradise of Argo City, formerly part of planet Krypton, but which exists in its own protected inner space and thus escaped Krypton's destruction at the beginning of the first Superman film. A young Kryptonian named Kara Zor-El, cousin of Superman, meets with her mentor Zoltar. Zoltar has illicitly borrowed Argo City's mysterious power source, a small orb called the Omega Hedron, which he uses to bring life to objects. Zoltar is played by Peter O'Toole, legendary star of Lawrence of Arabia. Kara is played by a then unknown Helen Slater, whom we've already seen in The Legend of Billie Jean, and who was chosen for the role over more established performers such as Brooke Shields, Deborah Winger, and Melanie Griffith. While Zoltar banters with Kara's mom Allura, Kara faffs about with the Omega Hedron. She accidentally blasts a hole in Argo City's protective shield, and the Omega Hedron flies out into space. Allura is played by Mia Farrow, acclaimed for her performances in Rosemary's Baby, as well as many films directed by her one-time husband, Woody Allen, and who is only in the film for this one short scene. With the loss of its main power source, Argo City is doomed, so Kara sneaks onto a spaceship built by Zoltar and takes off after the Omega Hedron. The Omega Hedron lands on Earth in the town of Midvale, outside of Chicago, right next to an aspiring sorceress named Selena, who is enjoying a champagne picnic with her mentor-slash-lover, a sorcerer-slash-high school math teacher named Nigel. Selena is played by Faye Dunaway, Oscar winner for Network and two-time nominee for Bonnie and Clyde and Chinatown. Nigel is played by English comedian Peter Cook, whom we just saw playing the impressive clergyman in The Princess Bride. Selena immediately realizes the Omega Hedron can give her great power, so she promptly dumps Nigel and speeds off to embark on her quest for world domination. Over Selena's car radio, we hear a news report that Superman is currently several 100 trillion light-years away from Earth on a peace-seeking mission, which effectively squashes the hopes of anyone wanting to see him in this film. In her spaceship, Kara undergoes a transformation into Supergirl, complete with the iconic red and blue costume. As with her cousin Superman, upon reaching Earth, Kara acquires an impressive barrage of supernatural abilities, including the ability to fly. Supergirl eventually winds up on a dark street where a pair of truckers immediately try to rape her. Welcome to Earth, Supergirl. She whips out her new superpowers, which include heat vision, super breath, and super strength, and kicks their asses before flying off. One of the truckers is played by Matt Frewer, who would soon become one of the most famous faces in 80s pop culture. Cybernetic TV star, talk show host, and New Coke pitchman Max Headroom. Selena returns to her decaying yet glamorous lair in an abandoned amusement park and throws a decadent bash where she refers to her party guests as her Army of the Night and announces her plans for world domination. Selena is terrible, but her parties are a rip-roaring good time. We meet Selena's henchwoman Bianca, played by Brenda Vaccaro, Oscar nominee for 1976's Once Is Not Enough. While tracking the Omega Hedron, Supergirl whimsically decides to enroll as a student in the Midvale School for Girls. Calling herself Linda Lee, she disguises herself as a mild-mannered brunette and shows the principal a forged letter of recommendation from her cousin, noted Daily Planet journalist Clark Kent. She meets her new roommate, Lucy Lane, sister of noted Daily Planet journalist Lois Lane. Demi Moore was originally cast as Lucy, but dropped out due to a schedule conflict, so Lucy is played by Maureen Teefy, best known as Doris in the 1980 film Fame. Linda/Kara settles into her new school and wastes a whole lot of time that would be better spent finding the Omega Hedron and saving her homeworld from imminent destruction. While driving past the school, Selena spots the hunky groundskeeper Ethan and falls instantly in lust. Ethan is played by Hart Bochner, whom we have already seen in his most well-known role as the sleazy yet doomed Ellis in the beloved holiday classic Die Hard. Selena invites Ethan over, then slips a love potion into his can of Schlitz malt liquor. While Selena is occupied with a visiting Nigel, a drugged and confused Ethan stumbles out of the amusement park. In town, Lucy introduces Linda to her boyfriend, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, played by Marc McClure, whom we've already seen in Back to the Future. McClure played Jimmy Olsen in all 4 of the Christopher Reeve Superman films, and is the only Superman cast member to appear in Supergirl as well, because apparently he drew the short straw. Selena enchants a bulldozer, which scoops up Ethan and starts to bring him back to her lair, but Linda transforms into Supergirl and rescues him. She transforms back into Linda just as the love potion kicks in, and Ethan falls madly in love with high school student Linda instead of with Selena. A jealous Selena casts a spell to destroy her new romantic rival. A great invisible destructive force attacks Linda, who transforms into Supergirl to fight it. Finally, Supergirl charges up a street lamp with a bolt of lightning and obliterates the unseen foe. Changing back into Linda, she finds her way to the amusement park. A lovesick Ethan presents her with flowers and chocolates and proclaims his love for her. An irate Selena subjects Ethan and Linda to various amusement park-centric torments, whereupon Linda changes back into Supergirl and flies Ethan to the safety of an island, whereupon they fall deeper in love. And then Selena knocks Ethan unconscious by bonking him on the head with a coconut hurled magically from a very long distance. With Nigel's help, Selena transports Ethan back to the amusement park and chains him to her bed. After double-crossing Nigel and stealing his source of magic, Selena transforms the amusement park into a mountain topped by a fortress. Selena, who has made Ethan her mindless love slave, banishes Supergirl to the Phantom Zone, a Kryptonian prison that exists outside of space and time and which factored into the plots of Superman and Superman 2. With Supergirl stuck in the Phantom Zone, Selena appoints herself Queen of Midvale or something and fills the streets with armed soldiers. This doesn't go over well with a small band of plucky protesters led by Lucy Lane and Jimmy Olsen. Upon learning that Lucy and Jimmy are Linda's friends, Selena has them arrested and dangles them in cages in her lair. In the Phantom Zone, Supergirl runs into a rummy and morose Zoltar, exiled there for his part in the looming destruction of Argo City. Supergirl talks him into trying to escape with her. They make their way across a dangerous terrain, but Selena hurls fireballs at them, and Zoltar falls into a swirling vortex and presumably perishes. Supergirl returns to Earth to fight Selena. There's a big climactic battle requiring the use of multiple industrial wind machines. Supergirl whips out all of her powers, and eventually Selena and Bianca are sucked into another dimension. With peace restored, the mountain vanishes, and Supergirl and Ethan say goodbye before Supergirl flies into space to restore the Omegahedron to Argo City. According to various reports, the budget for Supergirl was somewhere between $35 to $50 million, which is robust. Most of that money doesn't appear on the screen, because even by 1984 standards, this is not a great-looking film. The special effects are often shaky, which is okay. A big chunk of that budget probably went towards paying the salaries of those award-winning actors. And throwing your money at Peter O'Toole and Faye Dunaway is never a bad move. I've pointed out before that a film with a great script can easily transcend bad special effects. But Supergirl does not have a great script, to put it kindly, and the film bombed at the box office, making back less than half of that budget. Following Supergirl's failure, the film's producers, the father-son team of Alexander and Ilya Salkind, sold off their rights to the Superman franchise. Supergirl is the kind of film where the characters do a lot of stuff, but we're never sure why. Kara comes to Earth on an urgent mission to prevent her homeworld from being destroyed as a result of her own carelessness. That's great character motivation, but there's no urgency to her actions. The plot unfolds like it's being made up as the characters go along. This happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and there's no sense of the stakes being raised along the way. The film has some things in its favor. Even when nothing much is happening, I enjoy seeing Selena and Bianca hanging out in Selena's fabulous lair, drinking champagne and wearing sparkly outfits and being inappropriately horny over Ethan, like they're the supernatural version of the despicable ladies of AbFab. But fundamentally, Supergirl does not know what kind of film it wants to be. It's sort of an action film, and sort of a fantasy, and sort of a comedy, and sort of a romance. And if it had committed to any or all of those genres, it could have been something really cool. But instead it exists in this sort of wobbly middle ground. As Kara, Helen Slater takes her cue from Christopher Reeve's Superman by being very earnest and noble. Her Supergirl is naive and filled with childlike wonder, which isn't the most interesting direction in which to take this character, but it's certainly a valid interpretation. Slater played the role in a very serious and straightforward manner. Other performers, particularly Faye Dunaway, Brenda Vaccaro, and Hart Bochner, glommed onto the script's half-assed comedic elements and embraced a camp sensibility by giving very broad odd, exaggerated, and often downright weird performances. As a result, pretty much every actor seems to be in an entirely different film. Supergirl is interesting to look at from the standpoint of the year 2021, where we've had close to 15 years of box office dominance by comic book films, particularly but not exclusively by the films that make up the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The cinematic landscape of us Gen Xers in our childhood was a very different place. The comic book films of the 1970s were known for being cheaply made and endearingly shoddy. There was a made-for-TV Wonder Woman film in 1974 and a made-for-TV Captain America film in 1979, and there were a handful of TV shows geared towards young viewers during this era, like Shazam, Isis, The Incredible Hulk, The Amazing Spider-Man, and Wonder Woman. And they were very entertaining and held a great deal of charm for us Gen X kids, but they were never thought of as good. Quality wasn't the goal. 1978's Superman changed that, at least for a bit. Superman had a big budget and good special effects, and starred some excellent actors, including acclaimed stars like Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman and Jackie Cooper and Glenn Ford and Terrence Stamp, who took the material seriously, and it was a big hit. But that was an anomaly. Supergirl, with its shaky special effects and bad dialogue and performances that meandered all over the place, was disappointing to Superman fans, but it was in line for our expectations for comic book films at that time. Despite being a failure, Supergirl has had an enduring legacy. The character of Supergirl, as played by Laura Vandervoort, popped up on the CW series Smallville, in which Helen Slater guest starred as Superman's biological mother. Supergirl, as played by Melissa Benoist, eventually got her own show, which ran for 6 seasons on the CW, in which Helen Slater had a recurring role as Kara's foster mother. While neither a hit nor an especially good film, 1984's Supergirl is remembered with a certain nostalgic fondness by Gen Xers, who remember the days when comic book films weren't designed to impress. Next time, our computers are going to try to kill us all in the groundbreaking 1982 film Tron. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you will join me for that.